Alright, Schlockmeister fans, here's a rarity you probably never heard of. Donald Pleasance in To Kill a Stranger. Let's check it out.
National press! Albert Morel. The national press.
His credentials don't do shit. It's not the safest country he's in. Angelica Marie plays Christina. Dean Stockwell is her husband, John. He's a reporter.
Are you coming?
Yes, the day after tomorrow. We can spend 2 weeks together before my show opens in Europe.
Oh, great. That's terrific. We'll have all the meals set up to the room.
Don't forget the champagne.
You're a very courageous man.
Aldo Ray plays a local cop.
Is it simply that you're unaware of our country's ways?
No, I'm just doing my job.
This woman is going to give an interview to John, Dean Stockwell. But before she can do this, she gets kidnapped by the military. Again, I'm not sure what country they're in. It's unnamed, but it's kind of shady. Anyway, Christina has rented a car and she's going to drive to where her husband is. But then this yokel's going down the middle of the road. She crashes, gets stuck in the mud, and she's gonna have to hoof it from here. She meets Donald Pleasance, who plays Colonel Caustic.
You are standing. Let me introduce myself. I am Mikhail Caustic. I live near Cardon. Can I help you?
Military hero.
My car broke down. There was a boy on the road.
In my imagination, but
He takes her to his house.
something seems to be troubling you. What? You said, I don't mean to get personal.
Oh, no. It's nothing, really.
Let us say, if you were to find me attractive, there is this. I know you would have no qualms about making love to me, and yet you are a married woman.
Caustic's a little
You
randy.
hide your secret life from me. I know all about you.
And he's a little forceful.
Could you love me? We could have such exquisite pleasure together. I will cover you.
Well, she manages to get away from him, but she's still in the house, hiding. And Colonel Caustic pulls out the big guns. Literally. And when she runs out of the house to try to escape, head back inside the house. He finds her, catches up with her, and it looks like he's either going to choke her, kill her, or perhaps try to rape her, who knows, but score one for her. Now that'll do it. Obviously he woke up, and she took care of him. With his own gun.
Lie to me.
She found a truck driver to help her.
Why did you bring me here? They'll kill us both.
Kill me.
He's a hero. A war hero. A great man. He would never harm a woman.
Anyway, the truck driver took off and said, "You never saw me. No one ever saw me. I'm out of here." So she's left to deal with the body on her own rather than call the police. She found a well on his property and, well, she dropped him in it.
Albert, how are you?
Inspector.
Yes.
Inspector, maybe you can help me with something. My wife is due in from the States, and she's been delayed. I don't know what happened.
John?
Christina!
What happened? Where were you?
Furthermore, why is it that Albert Morell's girlfriend, Elgieta Moshinska, has suddenly disappeared? Are those coincidences?
That's enough.
He gets to interview the military, and they don't like it.
This is a personal affront I will not tolerate.
She tells him what happened.
Did you stop on the way and rob a bank?
Oh, no, I didn't. I killed a man.
Well, I hope it was your agent. We have nothing to hide.
If there's anything that I can do at all.
I know, Claire. Thank you.
He wants to get her out of the country.
My wife's passport, please. I'm sorry, sir, but the passport was taken away by the authorities.
A truck driver.
So that truck driver who
Perhaps you'd like
she
to
tried
see
to
him
get
now?
Yes, please.
to help her ends up getting arrested
There he is.
for the murder of Kostic, even though there's no body.
Well, what happened to him?
He slipped and fell. He did, however, sign a confession. It seems that he was, as we thought, a revolutionary.
Sure he did.
Suicide.
John, that's the man that was in Kostic's house. He did not commit suicide. They killed him.
Aldo Ray has some suspicions against Christina.
They saw an American woman in town the night that Kostic disappeared. And quite coincidentally also, she was driving a gray Mercedes, not unlike yours. Consequences
He figures
of
it all
what
out.
happened to a stranger in a difficult country. She takes matters into her own hands, disposes of the body, and wipes away all the evidence she can of ever having been there.
Colm, sooner or later, they're going to look in the well and find the body. We've got to get there before they do.
And then, what are we going to do with it? Hide it here in the room with us?
We'll bury it somewhere.
Aldo Ray was wanted to follow them.
I know what you've been up to, and that makes you an accessory to the crime. That's
But
one
Christina's
for you.
friend pretended to be
I'm taking these two with
Christina,
me. I want one of you to drive this car.
and he followed them by mistake.
Hey, wait a minute. I hate being made a fool of. The Carvers are at Kostic's house, of course.
So John went down in the well and hooked up the bag, and they drag him up. They put him in the back of the truck, then they get pulled over, and they hear a thumping back there. Kostic can't be alive, can he? Nope, it's Kitty. That's just enough distraction for them to take off. They got away, but as they were about to bury the body, the military finds them.
Well, this is the end of the road. The trucker described you perfectly. I have absolutely no doubt that it was you.
Here comes Aldo Ray.
You will have a chance to escape. My soldiers will not raise their guns until you have started running.
But before that can happen,
A lot of nonsense, Major. I know you've done most of the work, but I must take over from here on in. I'm placing these two under arrest.
Stay out of it, Benedict. Kostic is a hero, and his murder is our responsibility, not yours. I'll have no more of your tricks, Benedict.
they open up the bag, and there's a woman in there, not Kostic.
Try to get there all the way, please.
So they go to Kostic's place, look in the well, and they find several bodies down there. Kostic was not a nice man.
In the past 3 years, several women have gone missing in or around Carden. There was an American, 2 women from France, all tourists. The colonel has been my prime suspect all along, but I could never prove anything. Not until you showed up.
All right. This movie, To Kill a Stranger. This movie, I had on a VHS tape. I think I rented it in the very late 80s, 88, 89, somewhere in that range. Copied it. Didn't watch it at the time. Watched it perhaps in the late 90s, early 2000s for the first time. I didn't remember a damn thing about this movie. Nothing at all. Then, as I'm trying to track down all my movies that I had on tape and get them DVDs, I found it was released on a PAL DVD, which is what you see here. This looks like it comes from Germany. I can't read any of that language back there, but there is an English soundtrack, which you, of course, heard. And that's what we got here. I think this is a rip from a VHS tape because the quality isn't the greatest, but whatever. It's what I could find, and it's legit. So anyway, the movie itself is this woman, Angelica Maria is her name. Angelica Maria Hartman Ortiz, actually. She's a famous Mexican actress, apparently. I'd never heard of her, but she is famous. By the way, if you look up just the name Angelica Marie, which is what it says on the box there on the internet, you're going to find some very interesting pictures of a blonde woman who is not this Mexican actress, and you're going to see a lot of her. Anyway, regards to that. Anyway, she plays this woman who is going to go visit her husband, who's this reporter. He's going to go visit him in this Latin American country somewhere, or which is apparently in Europe. I don't know. Depends on what you read. She goes there, and she has a car accident. She ends up having to get picked up by this guy helping her, which is Donald Pleasance. He plays Colonel Caustic, some famous military general in this country. Anyway, Caustic tries to accost her, and they get into a big struggle at his house, and after he shoots at him, he shoots at her. Eventually, she's able to get the gun and shoot him and kill him, and then she drops him down a well on his own property there. Colonel Caustic obviously is now missing, and he's a famous person, so the authorities are trying to figure out what's going on. This does not seem like the safest country in the world that she's in. She does meet up with her husband and tells him what happened. Aldo Ray plays this cop who's trying to figure out what's going on too. Ultimately, they arrest somebody else for the murder, and the guy ends up dead. Obviously, they beat the crap out of him. But Aldo Ray doesn't believe it. The military kind of got that guy, but Aldo Ray is just like a regular, normal cop. He keeps investigating, and he thinks that he figures out what happened. He doesn't know where the body is, of course, but he figures out this woman had something to do with it. So he tries to follow her. They get off her, and then she says, we got to go to that well and get that body and hide it, because they'll eventually find it. So they go there, and they dig up a body, or they pull up the body from the well, and they're going to go to bury it, but then the military finds them, and they said, okay, we're going to give you a chance to escape. We're not just going to shoot you. Basically, they're saying, run away from us, and then we're going to shoot you. But Aldo Ray arrives just in time to kind of save them and says, I'm going to put them under arrest, blah, blah, blah. But then they open up the bag, and it's not Caustic in the bag. It's somebody else. They go to the Caustic's place. They look down the well. It turns out there's a bunch of bodies down there. Caustic was not a very nice man. He was attacking, raping women, that sort of thing, and dumping all those bodies in the well. So they realized that Caustic was actually the bad guy. They do find Caustic's body down there too eventually, but they found several other bodies as well from missing women over the past few years. Who Aldo Ray always suspected Caustic was the guy, but he could never prove it until now. So anyway, that's basically how our movie ends. You know what? For a movie that I didn't remember jack shit about this thing. It actually wasn't bad. No nudity in it. It was kind of just a thriller, but it actually was pretty decent, Dean Stockwell plays the husband of Angelica Marie also here. And Aldo Ray, from what I've read about Aldo Ray, he had some alcoholism problems in the 80s and such, and he was just doing anything they threw at him. But he actually plays a very nice character in this movie, and I kind of liked what he did. He was just very soft-spoken and mild-mannered, and just seemed like just a very nice guy that you want to hug. So anyway, To Kill a Stranger. I'll leave a link down below to Amazon. I could not find a link to the DVD, but I'll put a link to the VHS tape, which is really cheap. It's like less than $4, so you can't go wrong if you have a VHS player out there. It actually is a pretty decent film. So anyway, check it out. It's called To Kill a Stranger. Otherwise, just go on eBay. You can find this DVD. It's relatively cheap, too. There's not a lot of them. It's not like a common thing out there, but you can find it. So check it out. Leave some comments down below. It's called To Kill a Stranger. Watch it. Bye.